Hello the folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome to episode 48 of season 2 of the Neil Robertson Pro career on Snooker 19. This is the final part of season 2 of the Neil Robertson Pro career, but don't worry, it's not the final part of the Pro career altogether, but it is the final part of season 2 and a video that admittedly I didn't want or think that I'd be making just yet. That's because the series has been cut short. The season has. It's only been 47 episodes and a really short season, and today, it is time for the season review to analyse what went right. Of course, we won the Daffabet Masters and the Snooker Shootout, got a few finals, and also what went wrong that middle part of the season where we went out in the last 64 in 3 tournaments. So let's get into it straight away, shall we? So we competed in a range of tournaments this year. I mean, looking at that, there's got to be about maybe sort of 18, 20, yeah, 18 tournaments, something like that. We won 2 of them. We got to the final, I think, of 2 of them as well. And we did well in a few tournaments, but there were some stinkers as well. So let's analyse what went right and what went wrong. So for those of you guys who did not watch the Season 1 review, I've compiled a little spreadsheet of all the matches we played this season. And we're going to analyse how we got on in all of those matches. And particularly for you guys who maybe want to be jumping in at the start of Season 3, which is something I absolutely recommend you do. And perhaps you haven't watched this season, then this video will be a great outline of how we've got on this season. And also, we did the same in Season 1. So if you guys want to go back and watch that video before this one, please go and do that right now. But let's have a look at how we got on at the start of the season. All a long time ago, we got past the last 64 stage quite alright. And then we played Hassan for Fai in the first episode of Season 2, all the way back in the 21st of August. The football season had just started. I mean, to be fair, the snooker season had just started, hadn't it? It's probably about the time Riga was on, actually, just a few weeks later. Anyway, the first episode, we got past Hassan for 5, nice and easy by 3 frames to 0. And then the Yang Bingtao curse struck again. We played Yang Bingtao a number of times in Season 1 and went out to him in the German Masters, English Open, European Masters and the Indian Open. He was very much a bogey player for us, was Yang Bingtao, and he struck again in the first tournament of Season 2. And it's fair to comment as well that compared to Season 1, we played a lot less tournaments. We didn't want to play in as many tournaments this year, try and refine the tournaments. That's something that definitely come the end of the season I did come to regret a little bit. But we went out at the Riga Masters an early stage at the last 16 to Yang Bingtao, which is a big shame. We also went out at the same stage of the Paul Hunter Classic. We played Graham Dott in episode 3, got to a decider and beat him by 3 frames to 2. And then we got beaten by John Higgins, our biggest match of the season so far. We lost to him by 3 frames to 1. So in the first 2 tournaments, we went out at the last 16. Not too bad, but not really what we wanted to start the season off. And then we had a brilliant tournament at the Shanghai Masters. Won games against Ryan Day, Stephen Maguire and Mark Williams. As you can see, it quite easy really. Ryan Day was the player we had the most issue with winning all those games. And then we had what was the most interesting moment of the season, I would argue. We played against Mark Selby in the Shanghai Masters final. And I did this over 3 episodes. From memory, I was 6-1 down in that first episode. It was the best of 21. This was one of the tournaments we played long matches in. And 21 frames was the final. I think we did 7 frames in the first, 7 frames in the second. And Mark Selby made it 6-1. And I think we brought it back to something along the lines of over those next 6 frames. Let's say 8-6, for argument's sake, which was an awesome comeback. And going to that final episode, I was really looking forward to it. So I come to record the final episode, and the game's gone back to 0-0. This was a glitch with the game known as a glitch, a very bad glitch with the game that was fixed in a later patch, but obviously didn't help me back then. So we started the game all again from 0-0, and I could only manufacture something along the lines of 10-4, something like that. And obviously, no, I think it was 9-5. I think it was 9-5, which obviously made things a little bit harder. And unfortunately from that, I'm not saying that that's particularly an excuse, but Mark Selby then went and won that final by 11 frames to 6. But we got to a final which, the Shanghai Masters final, which was massive for us and where we earned most of our prize money this season. And because we had such a long time off, as you can see, the 27th of October was the final session. So over a month between those videos. And really that was, A, because of the glitch annoying me and I didn't really want to ever play that game again. B, I started work in September, so that kind of blew everything over as well. Anyway, and then we played in the English Open, and that was a complete disaster. We went out in the last 64 to Alan McManus by 3 frames to 2. That was just embarrassing, and we then entered a really poor part of our season, to be honest. We went out to Sunny Akani. This time it was a televised episode because we went out to McManus in the English Open. I wanted to make sure that if we went out, it was televised next time, and that's exactly what happened. Sonny Akani knocked us out at the Oppo International Championship. And then we played Mark Williams, the champion of champions, and got outclassed by 3 frames to 1. And this was really the bad part of our season. We managed to beat Fergal O'Brien in the Northern Ireland Open, then went out to Lee Hang by 3 frames to 0 in the Northern Ireland Open. The UK is a big tournament as well. Michael Georgiou beat us in a final frame decider. Absolutely dreadful. But luckily, from then on, our season went back to form a little bit. And this was a key tournament, the Scottish Open, which is on the screen right now. We beat Liam Highfield and Anthony McGill and Stephen Maguire, all in straight frames. And compared to where we were before, that was a good achievement. Then we faced Ronnie O'Sullivan and unfortunately couldn't quite beat him. And of course, our aim to try and regain and hold that Scottish Open, which is a tournament we won in the first season. We won that in a final against Mark Selby. Unfortunately, Ronnie O'Sullivan beat us by 3 frames. At this point, we were 20 episodes in, and then we had the best part of our season. We beat Maguire, Allen, Trump, and Mark Williams. Unthinkable after losing in the last 64 of that UK Championship. We beat them all. In that final, we beat Mark Williams by 6 frames to 2 over those 2 episodes, and we won the Daffabet Masters. We got to the final the previous year as well against Mark Allen, and as you can see, there's a clear setting of us doing very well in the invitational events, and perhaps not so well in the ranking events. But we went and won the Daffabet Masters. That was a huge boost. And then for some reason, it all went downhill again after that, and we said, great, at the end of the season, as you can see on this screen now, there were, 9 tournaments till the end, and I thought, right, we can go and win every one of these. Come on, let's, we're the best player on the tour at the moment, and this is absolutely fantastic. And then we got whooped by Brussels by 3 frames to 0, and that was difficult to take, really was difficult to take. Then Xiao Yu Long beat us in the next match in the Coral World Grand Prix, and all of a sudden, the tournaments start to dwindle down. We've got 7 tournaments left maximum. That was if we qualified for the Tour Championship. Again, I'll explain that in just a minute. But yeah, the Welsh Open, not so long ago, the 10th of February, only a month or so ago. We beat Tom Ford by 3 frames to 1, but unfortunately we lost to Mark Selby the first time since that Shanghai Masters match, and Mark Selby is a name that's going to be very important in just a minute. We lost to him by 3 frames to 2, and we went out at the Welsh Open. So then, potentially we only had 6 tournaments left, maybe even 5. Then we went and won the shootout, which was a bit of a rubbish tournament to win, to be honest. No trophy presentation or anything, but £50,000 in the kitty. That was really huge. We beat Higgins, Williams, Brissell, Selby on the way there, so that was really special to win that tournament. And then we started playing pretty well. And this is where the name Mark Selby gets in. We beat him in the shootout, but from then on we didn't beat him once again until the end of the season. And apart from the Betfred World Championship, which I've got a funny feeling we would probably face him in the last 8, we faced him and lost to him in every single tournament. We got to the semi-final of the Coral Players Championship, beating David Gilbert and Judd Trump along the way, which was pretty special in my book. And then we lost by 3 frames to 0 to Mark Selby. That killed off that tournament. Then we got to the final of the Gibraltar Open, a decider against Bingham, a decider against Ronnie, a 3-1 win against Mark Williams. Worked so hard to get all the way to the final, even though it was quite a minor ranking event. And then Mark Selby beat us in the shortest final possible, apart from the shootout in a best of 5, again in a decider. And unfortunately, because of that, we didn't make it to the Tour Championship. We weren't in the top 8. We started the season in 7th. We ended the season in 11th. We accidentally entered the Championship League. That's more for my records when it comes to assessing losses on the chart. And then we played in the China Open. Mark Selby, again, we beat Joe Perry and Brissell on the way to the quarterfinals. Pretty special. And then Mark Selby beat us by 3 frames to 1. The Selby curse was massive come the end of the season. And hopefully we get a chance straight away in Season 3 to try and defy that curse. And then in the Betfred World Championship, I mucked it up a little bit. I didn't set the matches too long. So we had to play a shorter match, a best of 5 against Tom Ford. And we won him. We beat him by 3 frames to 1. And then we got drew against Ronnie O'Sullivan in the last 16. A pretty tricky draw, if you ask me. And, well, as you saw in the previous episodes, we got annihilated. And I think to talk about that a little bit more in depth, the few shots that mattered was the shot where Ronnie O'Sullivan was 4-2 up. And we'd won the frame. We were on the pink. Popped the pink and it's over. And then we had that stupid glitch with the analog stick. We didn't pop the pink. We committed a foul. Ronnie cleared up the pink and black, and it went to 5-2. That was the one moment. And then from there, winning the next 3 frames. You have to wonder if we made it 4-3, at the end of that first video, you would have to wonder how the tie would have changed, because when Ronnie won the first 3 frames in that second episode, I didn't want to say it to you guys, but I mean, come on. Unless we did fantastically, I made a sarcastic joke, of course, that, well, if we won every single frame now, we'd be level. That just wasn't going to happen, was it? So, yeah, we lost to Ronnie by 13 frames 6. I think from 8-2 down, it was a decent result to make it, what's that? I mean, 5-4 from then on. So, you know, we had a bit of a fight back from there, but unfortunately, it didn't happen, and that is where it leaves us at the end of Season 2. A pretty poor season. So now we look forward to Season 3 in a season that we're pretty much going to play everything that's on offer, apart from probably the Yushan Open and the Indian Open. I'm not too interested in those tournaments, but apart from that, bring everything on, apart from the Championship League as well. That's an invitational event. So we will start in the next few days with a match in the Riga Masters, and I can reveal that that last 16 match is against Kyron Wilson. So that'll be an interesting way to start the season off. Then we go to Paul Hunter again. We'll play in the 6 Red Championship for the first time. But there's a lot of interesting tournaments to come this year. I can understand that it's probably not until this point, the English Open, that things start to get really exciting. But 6 interesting tournaments to see before we get to that English Open. And then, of course, the season really starts to unravel from there. So I'll give you a quick overview of Season 1 as well while we're here. We won the we got to the final of the Oppo International Championship. We won the Scottish Open. I mean, you can just pause this, can't you, if you want to see anything in depth. We got to the final of the Dafabet Masters, lost to Mark Allen, got to the quarterfinals of the Players' Championship, quarterfinals of the Tour Championship, but unfortunately the big one again, we lost in the last 16. So the Betfred World Championship is going to be huge this year. We really need to make a good effort towards winning that, because I think that Season 3 is probably going to be the last season, because, you know, if we don't do it well, I'll rephrase that. Season 3 will be the last season if we don't do very well, because we want to be one of the top players. That's obvious, and if we don't do very well this season, then it's going to be a big uphill struggle from there. So this is the recovery season, the one that hopefully we will recover and hopefully win a few tournaments and a few of the biggies as well. It'd be great to see, and hopefully you guys can join me for that trip. So if you have enjoyed this video, this season, leave a like down below. And a very much up and down season, as you could see, and hopefully Season 3 will be a bit more consistent. So the best thing that you can do to show support, leave a like on this video. When that number 1 drops in a few days' time for Season 3, leave a like on that video, and hopefully this series will receive a bit of a boost. The same as the last season, we're going to go with 3 videos a week on a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Saturday. Of course, subscribe for your notifications to see when those videos all come out, and that will be starting in the next few days against Kyron Wilson. Something to very much look forward to. So I apologise the World Championships weren't longer, but that is the way it is sometimes. Anyway, thank you for watching this season review. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe for regular snooker content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in Season 3. Goodbye for now.